Well,
song.
we
The
haven't in
entire
the
song.
past. We'll see.
I'll
uh,
I'll I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then followed by the jingle.
oh
Wait,
man,
no
the WA
theme
Pledge of
theme
Allegiance.
song?
Well, we are live now. Let's see. I just sent the post, I believe. Yep, that went through. So we are officially alive. This is Fireside Chat number 77. Apologies for last week. I know I delayed it to Friday and then wound up having to cancel it as well, just due to work and whatnot. Unfortunate, but yeah, we're back on now. So it's been 2 weeks. As far as I'll say this again at the end, but I have this already listed on the calendar. Next week's Fireside is going to be that Friday at noon Pacific time slot that I believe works better for a lot of our British time people as well. So I'm sure some of them were bummed that the Friday morning slash noon afternoon one was canceled. Um, because they wanted to make it to one, and I try to do some of those every so often, and because sometimes I'm working Thursday nights, frankly, it just kind of works out that sometimes I'll just go ahead and just move it to Friday, and then that gives an opportunity for people who are in a different time zone. Don't have to stay up till whatever we're looking at. Let's see, it should be 8 hours, so that's 1 a.m. for them. Don't have to do that every time. So yeah, that's going to be happening this Friday. So 8 days from now, we're having the 12 p.m. PST. It'll be next Fireside Chat, but that'll be number 78. But as far as stuff going on in the past 2 weeks, admittedly not a lot from me. I've been less active. I'm of course always sticking around. I'm not on LOA or anything like that. But part of that has been my WA time that I have had. I've been working on the big handbook update that I've always obviously been discussing. Brought up in the all thing. Had a lot of debates there back and forth, and currently I'm revising the whole handbook with a lot of both feedback from the all thing and also a lot of stuff communicating privately with various members, which again I encourage anyone, if you want a copy of the handbook draft that I'm working on, just message me and I'll give it to you. I haven't posted it publicly in rules because I don't want to confuse people and make them think these changes are in effect currently, because they are not. They're in a working stage at the moment. I'm we're continuing to revise, discuss, bring up the all, discussing things like that. So yeah, I'm going through a lot of those, working on that stuff. The laws page on the website as well is also under construction, but that gives some insight into the current draft of the upcoming new, much more detailed laws that will be going into effect at some point in the future. But yeah, no set ETA time on that. But I am working on it. I'm making progress, and yeah. So if anyone wants a copy of the handbook, let me know. Um, or if you have any ideas or suggestions or revisions or anything like that, message me. I've had a lot of people. You don't need to be an officer. I've had a lot of various members in the clan, whether it be even old ideas that they're pitching to me again. I've had some of those where the first time I said, "Nah, I don't think so," and then hey, 6 months, a year later, I'm like, "Oh, actually, what about this idea?" And working that all together. And I don't want to sell myself short. I did write the thing, but a huge amount of the current handbook updates is ideas from other people I've been talking to, various going through stages of me reworking stuff. And yeah, so if you have ideas or anything like that, obviously definitely just throw those my way. And no hard feelings, so I don't use them, but I would appreciate it, just because it's always better to have a pool of ideas to draw from, and even combine bits and pieces, that kind of thing. And again, if anybody, if you do see the handbook draft or anything like that, and you have whether it's small corrections or you just think amendments or suggestions, changes, anything like that, definitely just let me know. At the very least, I'm my office door is always open, so definitely feel free to reach out with regards to that. But that's been my big project, has been working on that. Um, I again have to apologize for some of my other sort of projects getting sidelined a bit. I know I had wanted to finish adding a little bit of extra flair to the relic system for House Dippity. Frankly, it's probably getting to the point where we could use another lineage chart as well, but that's sort of a not an emergency thing, but it's something I'd like to do. And then, of course, Historians Guild. It's been on the table for a while to do a lot of codex update work. Definitely something we want to look to do. But yeah, again, something that's been kind of sidelined. But yeah, hopefully that will be next on the agenda, at least for myself and the Historians Guild, and for House Stippity, all to get into all that stuff. And let's see, let me double check my document here. I know one other thing is marks. There's a couple of mark updates that need to happen. I know Kvasir's. I got all of Kvasir's mark boards that I just need to make a slight edit to and post those. Haven't gotten to that quite yet, but yeah, that'll should be in the near future as well. And let's see, double checking my document here. Let's see. Not seeing anything else really. I guess I will make two slight announcements, mostly with regards to the bundle of changes and handbook update. As many will have noticed, I have removed across the stat bot from Shrine of Uko. It is the Shrine of Uko, so the idea is that it's just for Uko, and it's supposed to be kind of a place of learning, browsing the codex, that kind of thing. Very WA centric, and I understand people like the stat bot, so you can use it in Ganunga Gap, and also officers should have access to it in their border review channels, anything like that. You should be able to use it as well. So if you find you can't use it and you think you should be able to, ping me, message me. We'll take a look, but should be all set with that. The idea is just that people checking stats a lot is a bit spammy, and so the idea is that we just do it in Ganunga Gap, something, do it in another channel, something like that. And then secondly, oh, the other thing. Oh, yes. So one of the things I brought this up in the all thing, but I am looking to basically have warbands adopt players tags, if that makes any sense. So I'm looking for warbands. For example, let's say for example you had a Guild Wars 2 warband, or that's one of the focuses for your warband, and you could say, I want to adopt the Guild Wars 2 players tag. So what that means is that you'd get basically you take the Guild Wars 2 tag, and that way you get access to the Warband's channel, and then the Guild Wars 2 channel is actually would then be removed, and instead you would have the your Warband channel would become the center of discussion for that game, and I believe that would help generate a lot of activity and stuff in that regards as well. So I'm definitely looking for Warbands to adopt players tags, as I'm dubbing it there. But yeah, I think that is it to my knowledge. So I'll throw it out to any questions, thoughts, upcoming events, announcements, stuff like that that anybody else wants to make.
Yeah, I think the warband tag for warbands, or the game tags for warbands, is a great idea. Just to kind of centralize, um, game chat within warbands. I know you've wanted warbands really to focus on the game specific elements of the warband. Maybe not so much the lore, maybe, but I think it's just a good way to coalesce around. I know in the past, Game Centric has done fairly well. I know at times we've been caught in uh, places where some games are rising, some games are burning out, and it was always kind of awkward to juggle people around. But always having a place is good. Um, yeah, I can't wait to see your changes. Give some feedback. What else? Oh yeah, Ufald. Just shout out to Ufald. He was doing some great work with looking over some roster information last night. He must have been incredibly bored because it was work, and kudos to him. Trying to help clean up inactives who might slip through the cracks, or maybe inaccurate reporting of like roll call posting, or you just general activity. I mean, having a second set of eyes was something that was very useful for me. And when I talked to him, and I know I already took some steps to clean up some members, I'm still chipping away at the handful he presented, but maybe something like that, a free agent going around just double checking stuff, because people sort of get into their own routine, and um, if people miss something, they're likely to miss it again. No, not really through their fault, but rather just sort of assumption. Oh yeah, I checked it, and then you didn't check it, and Well, here we are. Now we have a bunch of scouts that aren't actually active. Um, Plus, it helps the dialogue for, hey, do we need to ask this person to be a guest because, hey, you're not really fulfilling requirements. Second set of eyes on that. Or, hey, we've noticed you did post the roll call, but you've been in chat all of for like 20 minutes in the last week and you have like 5 posts. That ain't cutting it. So, more of those subjective things than just straight reporting, did you post, you know, whatever. And he likes the spreadsheets, and I know Wolf was going to town on the bot. So anyway, my point is, like, maybe we could consider having like a free roamer just sort of pop in and make sure things are squared away. And again, like I said, second set of eyes always helps. As long as there's no interference, it's just that extra due diligence is always nice from an operations standpoint.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I think the fact that there was like some scouts lingering that hadn't posted in roll call in like 4 months, 6 months is a bit concerning. I think I know some warbands are short staffed. I know one thing I did, I added this to my monolith threads and my handbook draft as well. That came to mind is since berserkers can actually add or remove roles. I know there's some instances of like people being moved to guests that actually get the role, possibly because berserkers maybe were the ones put in charge of something like that and don't actually have the mod power to do that. So one thing I added was that berserkers should, or anybody who's doing these duties who doesn't have the ability to do it, should just ping an officer or should ping the direct superior and make sure that it actually it's followed through there as well. Um, as far as looking at the new system, I mean, the idea being that Thanes will be able to be somewhat of that free roamer role if necessary. But also, it should be. I think the fact that all the duties are codified too. Each warband should be able to take care of that. Each cycle, as far as just double checking every member's activity, in terms of and double checking that they posted in the roll call and whatnot. Um, maybe once in a blue moon somebody slips through. Maybe they're on LOA or something. They take an LOA and then we forget about it or whatever. But yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be expected that each warband just completes that stuff and double checks and basically, uh, yeah. But I know right now that a lot of the warband duties are still a bit up in the air. And if people want to already start using the threads I wrote in the monolith as far as just as a checklist, I know I'd have a difficult time keeping track of all the different stuff you'd have to do. It makes it easy because it's all listed there.
Mm.
But yeah, hopefully that'll improve that as well. But yeah, definitely shout out to Ulf, of course. I appreciate that. I know once or twice I try to do that myself, kind of go through and just double check. There usually winds up being some scouts that kind of fell through the cracks and that kind of stuff too. So that's a big help for sure.
Yeah, I know. Oh, is he in here? Yeah, he is. Hey.
All right. Well, anybody have anything else? Maybe not. All right. Well, yeah, I'll just throw out. I mentioned this at the start, but basically, this next Fireside is going to be at that Friday at 12 p.m. PST time slot. So hopefully we get some Brits there, and yeah, that's gonna be the next Fireside chat number 78 will be 12 p.m. PST Friday. What is that? October 11th, for that one. So yeah. I'll throw out. I don't know if Pato had an announcement planned, but I know still needs riddles. I still have to write my riddle from I believe anyone Berserker Plus for Alpha Blot. So yeah, that's something coming up. Obviously, we're in the month of October here, so Halloween coming up as well. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Unless somebody has any closing stuff, we'll probably go ahead and sign off here. I don't think I have anything else. I usually just throw out Guild Wars 2 night again. That'll be happening on Sunday. don't have a big plan as far as something we're working on in game right now. But if anyone wants to try the game or just needs help with anything, I know I'll be on. Manny will be on. We'll have the whole crew on. So yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for showing up. Anyone watching live or watching the VOD, I'll be sending it over to YouTube ASAP here, and we'll see everybody. Yeah, next week it'll be Friday at 12 p.m. PST. So see everybody then.